Good evening, everybody. My name is Ashley. I'm certainly not a doctor. I am a nurse and I studied psychotherapy as well as drug and alcohol counseling. So I do have my degree in those sectors, but I'm definitely not a nurse. I have wanted to speak about this for a long time on my YouTube channel. I have made several videos in regards to this subject matter of narcissism, but I've never actually put one on YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go over some traits and signs so you'll be able to identify somebody in your life. This is just something, like I said, that is super important to me as I have dealt with narcissism my whole entire life, from people that I've encountered, as well as dating one, and I'm still dealing with one to this day. So these are just some ways to kind of identify that, and as well as giving you guys a little bit of education and some substance behind exactly what we're talking about this evening. So please bear with me. I did not take any notes, and this is just like most of my YouTube videos. The content varies, but this is just things that I know off the top of my head, and I'm able to share this with you in hopes of helping others, and that's pretty much why I'm here. Narcissist, it is described as a personality disorder. It's not a disease. However, some scholars have recently found that there are some different type of CT scans that can identify this in some people. We all have different personality traits when it comes to a certain sense of self, as well as tolerance levels, all of these things that comprise us to be actual functioning human beings. And narcissists have the same traits, but they're on their scales and levels. They rank higher in certain things and lower in others, and that is how they are tested when being diagnosed with this personality disorder. So these people have an extreme sense of self. Even though they have no self-confidence whatsoever, they will come across as the most self-evident person you have ever met in your entire life. They have an extreme sensitivity to criticism, so don't be surprised if they backlash or act very, very angry when they are criticized, even if it's something that they should already know, or it's something that was used in a constructive type of way. They cannot handle criticism whatsoever. They do not know how to deal. They have an extreme need, like a desire for recognition. Recognition is huge to them. So they may say, for instance, they may say, well, I am a mother, or I am a this, that, or the other. They always have to have titles with everything that they do, because they seriously do not know how to function as a normal human being in society. Narcissism is a very known thing, but a lot of people don't talk on it. A lot of people don't bring it up. A lot of people are scared to talk about narcissism, especially and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the victims, or the victors rather, of narcissistic abuse. They also are ambiguous for lying about themselves and other people to gain attention and or attraction. Even if it's negative behavior, they still have absolutely no problem going about their life living a lie. I always say that narcissism is the silent killer, because you don't realize it, you don't see it. It is a cycle that happens whether you are a daughter of a narcissist, a friend, a partner, romantically or otherwise. You do not realize it until it's way too late. And unfortunately, because of the amount of guilt and the amount of pressure that they put on you and all of those things, you don't realize it, and therefore you take the blame. And they condition you to be able to take that blame. And so generally you just have a terrible time dealing with life post narcissistic abuse. So sign number one would be that they are show-offs. They really have to do a lot of things in their life to try to make up for all of the things that they lack. So they are very arrogant. They are very big in everything that they say and everything that they do. They're very convincing. They are very showy, very flashy, whether it be a tiny achievement, a big achievement, whatever, they're going to make a huge deal about it. Sign number two is that they are very self-centered. And I'm not talking about the regular, I need to care for me type of thing, the regular everyday person that has their own amount of being subservient. These people are extremely self-centered to where you could be curled up in a ball crying and they're telling you that you're absolutely ridiculous. These people have no empathy whatsoever. They can go to a grocery store, look around, fill their cart with everything that they need and never think twice about your needs. Or they could, you're out doing your thing, providing for your family, and let's say you're married to one or dating one, and you say, hey, can you stop and get this for me? And it's either I forgot, or I can't, or I don't have the money, or whatever. And that usually happens down the line. It usually doesn't happen right away because these people, like I said, are they are scavengers. They are the hunters. They do not get hunted. They use you as prey, and they condition you to see them as a savior, to see them as important, to see them as precedents, to see them as, their needs are more important than yours. So they are very self-centered, more so than the norm. And it's not even about typically normal things to be selfish about. They are just extremely self-centered. Sign number three to look out for is that they have no empathy. So I'm not talking about somebody who does or does not cry at Animal Planet commercials or ASPCA commercials or St. Jude's commercials. I'm talking about people that have no empathy whatsoever in their life. They can say whatever they want to you in whatever tone they want to. They are never the one to blame. They are never guilty. They've never done anything wrong. You are the one to blame. Doesn't matter if you're crying. Doesn't matter if you have an open wound. It doesn't matter if something terrible has happened to you. If somebody in your life has passed away. They have zero empathy. None whatsoever. It's all about them. And it will always be all about them. Number four, they are highly delusional. Delusional grandeur. Self-image of themselves. This is something that is this should be probably number one in my book, because you can kind of identify it a little bit down the road. Maybe not at first, but a little bit down the road, you're going to start seeing this. It's like a high opinion of oneself. Well, I am the world's greatest mom. I am the best friend. I am the greatest confidant. I am the best at giving advice. I know exactly what you need, when you need it, and how you need it. And that is one of the things that can really ruin a person dealing with a narcissist, because they are so very believable. They pretty much sell themselves to you to where you don't know what is going on. It is like going to a used car lot and getting completely taken advantage of and not even realizing it until months down the road. And that's the saddest thing. They have such a high level of their self-love that the love that they have for you, which they don't, is unfortunately non-existent altogether. They are always more than you, better than you, more accomplished than you, more educated than you, more loving than you, more everything than you. Like I said, they have The highest level of self-importance out of any person in this world is a narcissist. And that is the absolute truth. All right, moving on to number 5. These people need constant compliments. So if you're somebody who is nice and you're a very nice person and you've always been a nice person and you're dealing with a narcissist and you are completely unaware of that fact, you're going to find that they constantly need reassurance and compliments. Taking away a narcissist's power is taking away compliments, taking away their power, because they have such a hold on people. It is like the strongest hold ever known to man is the power of a narcissist, one that has not been identified, one that is unknown of. And that is what I call narcissistic supply, is when they target you and they get from you what they need, like a leech. They need compliments. They need reassurance. They need you to tell them, wow, you're doing a great job with your kids. Wow, you're so smart to have come up with that theory or concept. Wow, you're such a good writer. Wow, you do your makeup beautifully. Wow, blah, 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 blah. And how they receive that is simply by over giving themselves to you at the very beginning. See, this is a cycle with individuals. Overall, they're a narcissist, but in each individual sector of their life, they're going to have a cycle for each person, whether it be their husband, wife, child, mom, daughter, so on and so forth. That is the narcissistic supply, is getting their compliments. So one of the things when getting away from a narcissist is to take away your compliments, take away your time and your attention. And it's going to be one of the hardest things you do, because they're already going to have that control and that conditioning on you unless you become aware to this fact. So number 6, also, they take no responsibility. They take this big delusional thing that they have as the world that's supposedly on their shoulder. They're so oppressed. They have so much going on. But yet they're so good at handling it. They're gracious. They're kind. They know how to talk to you. They know how to talk to others. They know how to raise their kids. They know how to get an education. They've owned homes. They've owned cars. They know more than you. But then it just comes down to this no responsibility type of thing. So when there is a breakup, when there is, the child grows up and leaves home, there is no responsibility taken by that narcissist at all for the feelings that you feel, for the memories that you have that are full of disdain and disappointment and sadness. There is no recovery for you given by that person. There is no love given by that person. That person does not ever say, I am sorry. And if they do not mean it, because their actions never, ever change, ever. So here are some stages. The first one is they idolize you. They find you. They see that you're an independent person. You're doing well. And this is in a relationship-based type thing. Later, we're going to talk more about narcissist parents. But they idolize you. They see you. Wow, you're so handsome. Wow, you have all of these things. I'm so proud of you. Did you know that I also do this and I also know that? And, I've never met anybody like you. You're so beautiful. You're so educational. You're so charming. You're great. They're like a lion that hunts you down, that literally hunts you down. They gaslight you. They see somebody that has their narcissistic supply. They find you, and then they idolize you to bring your self-esteem higher than it's ever been, so that you see them as your supply. Maybe you are in a difficult spot in your life. Maybe you are in a difficult spot of your life, and somebody is just, and I'm not talking about, the normal, you're so pretty, I love you, or somebody that's actually genuine. This person literally goes out of their way to replace everybody in your life, your mom, your dad, your children, so on and so forth, to make them be the only one that you see because they need your supply. It's absolutely disgusting. So just remember that in cycle stage number 1, they idolize you. They idealize you. Now, moving on is then later on down the line, you're in the relationship. You're feeling wonderful. You're feeling great. Things are going good. And then all of a sudden, stage 2 comes around. They devalue you. So now you're no longer important. Now you're not doing the things that you used to do. You've changed, even if you haven't. You've changed. You're not a good person anymore. They're the ones that know more than you. They're the ones that have better advice. They're the ones that are above you. You are no longer important. And so here you are, poor pitiful you, doing everything you can to live up to their expectation, to that person that they gave you in the beginning, that lovely person that you connected so well with because they knew every little thing about you. But now it's not that anymore. It's devaluing you because it gives them the power. And that's exactly what they need, power. Because without power, a narcissist is powerless, right? So they slowly devalue you, by putting you down, by telling you things that aren't true, telling you that you're a cheater, that you're no good, you don't look good, maybe you don't smell good, that you're a terrible parent, that you're an awful person. How dare you? How dare you blame me? Say that you're sorry. Tell me that you're sorry. Those things. That is classic telltale signs. Stage number 2 of narcissistic abuse is the devalue stage. Then there is the discard phase, where maybe on social media, they're putting things up, okay, we'll start here. At home, they decide, okay, I've devalued this person to the point where they have no self-love. They have nothing to give me. They're trash. They're no good. I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to break up with them. Or they might keep holding on to you in a very sick way, and it might go on for several years before you reach the discard phase or before you decide to leave. And in that case, that's all where the guilt tripping comes in. But the discard phase is basically you no longer have the narcissist supply because you've been devalued. You're no longer, you're no longer up on that pedestal that they gave you. They don't want you anymore. They want their next victim to feed them. It's like the ecosystem. It's like the food chain. So they might break up with you, tell you it's your fault. You're not good. Your job's not good enough. You're not a good parent. You aren't worth their time or their energy. They've given you too much and they've done too much for you. And how dare you, because they gave you everything that you have, they get rid of you. But on social media or other places, they used the act of slander to talk negatively about you, i.e., my baby daddy ain't shit, i.e., my ex has done this terrible thing. My ex is a horrible parent. My ex cheated on me, even if you didn't. My ex didn't want me. Why would they not want me? I'm this great person. I'm wonderful. Look at all these statuses I've made. Look at all these selfies I've took. Look at all of the things I've done for this person. And they don't want me anymore, but yet they're the one that broke up with you. Or maybe you're the one that broke up with them, but still that whole delusional world of cycle of abuse is put on your shoulders. They're not taking any responsibility. And the people that don't know them listen to it. And the people that they've conditioned listen to it and think less of you where then you start thinking less of you and believing that they're telling you the truth, that maybe you did change. Maybe you aren't good enough. Maybe you're terrible. You're absolutely disgusting. Maybe, possibly. That maybe even if you didn't cheat the one time that you looked at another girl, that was the reason they broke up with you. And it's all your fault. And if you have kids involved, you better watch out, because when you're dealing with a narcissist mother, it is forever a battle that never stops, because narcissism is a personality disorder. It's where something is wrong and you might want to change it. You might want to fix it. You might want to think about the times that they were good to you, the laughs that you had, the moments that you shared, the children that you shared, the wonderful things that could have happened, and ask yourself and doubt yourself that it was your fault and that you can fix it and you can go back in time and make it work, and you can't. You cannot change a narcissist. The only way to loose their power from you is to literally cut them completely off, where you have to find a way to either move, take all your contact information, social media and otherwise, and put it in a box and dip out to where they can never find you again, because they will constantly and consistently come back, even if they discarded you for your supply. They will never stop. They will never change. They will never get better. And they will bring up things to remind you and haunt you and try to convince you that there is nobody else in this world that could treat you as good as them, that there is nobody else in this world that knows more than them, or knows you more than, or knows you better than anybody else in this world. And they will do that. And they will send pictures, and they will send memories, and they will post dirty Facebook status to try to get a reaction. And they will tell everybody that you left them in a bad spot, and they will have a pity party. And it's just this big, old, nasty mess. The discard phase is a very hard phase to go through. And this is the phase that people need counseling. They need help. They need friends. They need escape. And unfortunately, a lot of children that are left to narcissist parents or partners that are out of a narcissistic abusive relationship do not recover. They blame themselves. And they become scared of society. They become guarded. They become very doubtful of their self. They have no idea who they are, because everything was wrapped up in that other person. Everything that they ever got their information from about themselves, or so on and so forth, is in that person's hands. It is in that history with that person. So let's move on a little bit. That is true for narcissism across the board, no matter how you're related to one or how you have encountered one. The next thing I'm going to move on to is narcissistic mothers or fathers. They do not have any self-image whatsoever, so they live vicariously through their children and put their children in terrible predicaments. There's the puppet master, where they want you to dance to their tune. They have to have complete control at all times. They're the puppet master. You dance to their tune. And if you don't, then you're no good. You're not like your mom. You're just like your shitty dad. Or you're just like your shitty mom. There's also the guilt basher. Everything's your fault. If you weren't around, your dad and I would still be together. If you didn't happen, then I'd be able to pay all of these bills plus have money for myself. If you weren't such a bad kid acting up in school, I'd be able to keep my job. If you would go to bed on time, I'd be able to watch all my shows. Mommy suffers because you're here. Miserable, angry at life, at literally everything, just miserable, looking for people to gaslight, don't know how to be a mom, don't know how to love, don't know how to give their children what they need, don't know how to give them support or understanding or a listening ear. Everything has to be controlled. And if they lose control at all, they go crazy. They literally go crazy. The mom you see, the father you see, oh, the weight is on my shoulders. The weight of the world, it's so heavy. It's always on my shoulder. Poor me, single mom. Poor me, single dad. Poor me because your daddy doesn't love me because you. We fight because of you. We're staying together because of you, but I'm not happy. You ever see that before? That's a narcissistic parent. There's also the straitjacket love, where they love you so much. Their love for you is so strong, and they love you so much, or they appear to love you so much, that this is why I'm smothering you. This is why I'm going to homeschool you. This is why you can't do this and you can't do that. Is because I love you. I love you, love you, love you, love you. I love you so much. I'm gonna keep you mine, all mine. Nobody else's. I don't care if we have family members. I don't care if you have friends. I don't care if, Aunt whoever can't see you for Christmas because you're in my straitjacket love. Don't ever leave me. I don't know what I would do without you. You're the only thing I have in this world. Straitjacket love. Narcissistic mother trait number 1. Has to be. Blame game and conditional love. If you say this, I'll do that. When you go to school, make sure you say this, and I'll do this for you when you get home. The push and the pull, to where these kids never fully grow up because they never have any sense of self-discovery, who they are, where they're at, what they need, how they feel. They're not allowed to express feelings. Their parents do it for them. A narcissistic parent does it for them. The kid could be feeling perfectly fine, but the mom could say, oh, my poor son. Oh, my poor daughter. Gosh, it must be such a horrible life for you. It must be terrible. Because they want attention, not because they want prayers for their kid. It's because they want attention. And when anything bad happens, it's your fault. Just like I said. Just like in the relationship, it's your fault. It's never, ever, ever their fault. And they will guilt trip you for every single little thing. The inconsistent love, the push and the pull. Now, there's a whole other subject called Munchausen syndrome, which is an actual real syndrome that happens to children in a lot of different social settings. But 9 times out of 10, it's children that are victims of narcissistic parenting. So babyfying. They babyfy you to take your power. So whether it's leaving you in Pampers till you're 8 years old, or telling you that you need a pink nightlight, or, you can't go to this certain school because you're not ready for it, or you can't dress like that because, it's not good for you, whatever, that's babyfying. And babyfying lasts long into adulthood. You could be 35 years old and still be babyfied by a narcissistic parent. There's a couple more traits. Comparisons. If you were only more like your sister, if you were only more like this kid at school, if you were different towards me, maybe I could be different towards you. When you do something good, and you're a little kid, and you go home and you show your mom, and she says congrats, but it's in that angry tone. Congrats. Congratulations. That's a narcissistic parent. It's all false. They are experts at victim playing. My kid doesn't have this. My kid doesn't have that. Or they could be on the opposite side. Don't get it confused. They could be on the opposite side. My kid has everything because of me. My kid would be nothing without me. can only imagine what my kid would be like if I let them hang out with this family member or that family member. They're also very secretive. You have to keep their secrets. So the kid grows up thinking that they don't have a truth. They can't tell the truth. They have to tell everything as a lie to protect the image of the narcissistic parent. They hide their abuse, and they're completely different around other people. Completely different. So what goes on at home does not go on around other people. To other people, they may seem like the parent of the year. They may seem like they have all of their stuff together, but they don't. They are raising children that become very untrusting, very guarded, very secretive. The children lie. The children repeat the cycle, and sometimes the children even adopt, in recent studies, characteristics of narcissism or become a narcissist because their parent was a narcissist and they do not know how to function normally in this world, unfortunately. So these are all things to be on the lookout for. There is not enough awareness, and I know that this video is not 100% beautiful. I don't have makeup on, don't have my hair done. I just got out of the shower. But I wanted to speak about this because I know what it's like to be a victim of narcissistic behavior, be around narcissist people. It is a real epidemic. It is not just some regular personality disorder or somebody that, is, let's say, has like a blown up self-image, blown up ego. This is way, way, way beyond it. And unfortunately, we don't see it. We see narcissists as saviors. They're the best ones, the smartest ones. And so they put all of that on us, and we fall in love, and even their children fall in love with, without them, I'd be nothing. They're the only person that's ever going to love me this way. And then they discard you to where you're then seeking their approval, and then they just discard you. And it's not just that. It goes well beyond this, but we're already 32 minutes into this video. And this is just something, like I said, that is very near and dear to my heart. I have done my research. I do have a degree in a couple of different things. I'm not a psychologist. I don't have my doctorate in any of this stuff. But this is something I have studied for years. This isn't a recent thing. This is something that I have studied for years. And if you have any comments or anything that you've gone through or experiences or anything to add, because I'm sure I left out a lot, you can leave it in the comments. Hopefully this will help somebody. If you are in a narcissistic relationship and you've then identified it after watching this video, please seek some help. Please seek some counseling. Reach out to those around you. Look up narcissism. Look up ways to get away from them. And really the only cure is to cure yourself, because you cannot cure a narcissist single-handedly. That's a decision that they have to make,